welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna do a Q&A. I asked on Twitter like what you really wanted to see more of. Fall fashion was the #1 thing, but that's coming anyway, girl. Don't even, I just put that on there for fun. It's coming anyway. But then #2 was a updated like Q&A basically. So I went ahead and asked you guys on Instagram if you have any cues for me to and let's just get into it, pretty much. This person said, how are you handling all the COVID body talk? I hate beating myself up, but stuff doesn't fit. She said it a little differently. You know what? I'm not seeing much COVID body talk, and a lot of that has to do with what you're choosing to have in front of your face, like how you kind of curate your whole spiel, you know what I mean? Like your timelines and stuff like that. I regularly unfollow people, and if I'm seeing information I don't want to see, or if I'm having a poor reaction to it, I will stop seeing it. I will let Instagram or YouTube or whatever know that I'm not interested in it. If it's someone I have a very close tie to, but I still am not enjoying what they're saying, or again, I'm having a negative reaction to their content, whatever their type of content it might be, whether it's an influencer or if it's just a regular person I know in my life, I will go ahead and mute that person instead of unfollowing or whatever, because I know some people can be like, you unfollowed me, what's wrong? You know what I mean? Like, most people don't trip, I think. But yeah, you really gotta curate what's in front of you. You gotta kind of decide what you want to see and what you don't want to see. You need to let these platforms know you don't want to see it by not interacting with it, and then by just letting them know you're not interested in it or muting it. So I haven't seen a lot of COVID body talk. I understand what you're saying, that people have, you know, a lot of people definitely have probably been struggling more so with their body, with gaining weight, with not being as active, and so on and so forth these last however many months now. And that's life though. This happens to be going on for all of us all at once together, but it's always happening for everyone separately in their own time frames for their own reasons. So I think the only difference right now is that people were gaining weight and being less active all at once. However, it's not like it's something that any of us are like immune to, like we've never experienced it in our lives before. So I would say just kind of figure out whatever your goal is, whether it is like you're trying to be more active, or you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to maintain your weight, or you're trying to get stronger, or you're trying to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Kind of find your goal and figure out how it is that you're gonna get there. And if you're not in the headspace to be chasing a goal, which I totally understand, you can't do everything all the time, you know what I mean? You have to be in the right mental state of mind to accomplish certain things. Then just give yourself some grace and allow yourself to kind of move through what it is that you're moving through, figure out what's challenging you, figure out little things that maybe you can do to improve that, and then from there, hopefully, you'll get to a better mental place where you're able to do things that are better for your physical body. So that's my answer to that. You ever feel discouraged about turning another year older? I'm 31 and I feel so old already. I am also 31. I don't feel that old. I don't get discouraged about getting older because I feel like I'm doing things, I'm accomplishing things, I'm moving through life, and I just think getting older is a privilege that not everyone gets to do. And when I get older, my kids get older, you know? And when I get older, my parents get older, and I spend more and more time with my parents. I will be devastated when the day comes that that relationship is no longer a physical part of my life. And so I try to look at it like it's a good thing. Every day that you're alive, every day that you're given, it's a good day, you know, in some way, shape, or form, it's a good day. So I try very hard, and I'm very good typically at having just a positive outlook on things. As far as the age thing, I think that there's just so much pressure to have so much done by this time, or by this time, or by this time, and we live in a world of comparison, and it can be difficult for sure, right? When you're judging your life versus literally anyone else's lives. The only thing I will say that I am cognizant of, and this will roll us into another question that I got easily like 200 times. Do I want to have more kids? Am I going to have more kids? And this is one of those questions that, like I said, I have answered time and time again. If you don't know, I have 2 kids. They are both 9 years old right now. I was like 22 when I had them. I'm not with the father of my kids, but you know, obviously we have like co-parenting relationship, whatever. And do I want to have more kids? I think that my brain, my body, the person I was back then when I got pregnant and I had them, I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she made it through everything that she ended up going through. I don't know how she did it, because I feel like I'm not her anymore. And that was a person that existed, yes, but does she exist now? I feel like she doesn't. And I'm such a different changed person from who I was that I think I would thoroughly enjoy what it means to be a mother now, like again. You know what I mean? Obviously I'm still a mom, but to be a new mom again, kind of starting over as a grown woman who really has her life, for the most part, very much kind of put together. I've curated a life that I thoroughly enjoy, and I enjoy every day. I'm in a relationship with a man that I really love and respect. Would I enjoy it? Would I want it? I think I would. But at the same time, I feel a sense of like a completed family almost. If we get married, then I would definitely feel it even stronger, and my feelings might change, and I might yearn for a child more, you know what I mean? But right now, I mean, I can't say that I'm wanting for anything, because I'm really not. And I thoroughly enjoy my 2 kids in the stage of life that they're in now and the stage of life that they were in before. And right now, the stage of life is like braces and orthodontists and stuff. Like literally every single week for like over a month, I have been at the orthodontist or the dentist. Even today, in about 3 hours, I'll be at the orthodontist, but this time with the other kid. And like, it's just, I enjoy going through the seasons of life as a mother with my kids. And I just think that, thankfully, I don't yearn for things that I don't have, but at the same time, would I welcome it? Would I embrace being a mother that's in a relationship that's loving and not full of lies and pain and turmoil, and how are we gonna, pay the rent, and how are we gonna pay the bills, and oh, did you use the WIC check this week, and do we have enough left on our link card to, get whatever it is that we need to get? Or there was so much stress. It was so stressful. Like my body hurt from the stress. It was so stressful. I think it would be beautiful now. And I think I'd be okay if it didn't happen, because in, 9 or 10 years, my kids are gonna be adults technically, and maybe they'll be off in college, maybe they won't go to college, maybe whatever it is, I will have a different sense of freedom when I'm 40, because I had my kids so young, because I went through what it is that I went through. So also that'll roll into the next question, which is, when are you and Lewis getting married? When is this happening? Or da 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 da. There are a million different ways, however you can picture it. I understand people being inquisitive about it. It doesn't bother me that people are inquisitive about it. It's just something I've addressed so many times that I don't want you guys to get tired of hearing it. But we're in a solid relationship. I love our relationship. I love him. And I've never done anything like this before, where I've been sort of forced to grow on my own and change who I was and change how I reacted to things. We've been together for a while now, and I will say that I have changed a lot, a little bit because of him kind of pushing an idea that, Sarah, you don't have to react this way. You don't have to think this way. You are in control of this. Because a lot of times I would feel like I was so out of control of my emotions. I couldn't control my emotions at all. I just wanted to pop in really quick and say that, in short, the only relationship I knew how to be in was a bad one. And so I had to teach myself how to be in a good one. And I still have triggers, and calm down, girl. I still have things that will take me to a really terrible place, and he's aware of them. But over these years of us being together and really focusing on building a rock solid foundation in our relationship, there's so many things that I don't have to worry about. There's so many things that I don't think about. And it allowed me to like clear all of this garbage away and to really focus on becoming like the best version of myself, so that I can be the best partner I can possibly be to him, and vice versa. We've both grown a lot. If we get married, we get married. When we get married, we'll get married. And that's kind of what it is. I'm not sitting here holding my breath, and at the same time, again, like with children, I would welcome it if it happened. I made a joke about asking me who I was voting for, so then a bunch of you guys asked me who I was voting for, and I did say I would address it. So this is how I feel about politics, just kind of in a nutshell. I'm not going to be able to cover everything here, but I am generally not a very trusting person of any government, anything. I'm not trusting of politicians. I do not believe that any single politician truthfully has the best interest of humanity in mind. And I think everyone has their own personal agenda. And I think we know that because they literally tell us their agenda. And I think that politics are extremely divisive. And I don't think that that's a coinkydink. And I think that more so now than ever before.
Hey guys, so I decided to cut this off instead of going into depth on my opinions because I realized in hindsight it's really just contributing to the exact thing that I detest, which is all of the division and animosity that is bred when it comes to talking about politics and specifically choosing between these two old white dudes. So I've decided to not get into it and instead trust that you guys as my peers are going to make the right decisions for yourself based on your own perspective. And it's really not something that I feel like will benefit from having my opinion tossed on top of it. So let's continue.
I also got a lot of questions about my book as far as where I'm at, when it's coming out, what's in it. If you guys didn't know, I did spend some time this quarantine, right? I did spend time writing a book, and so I set a goal for myself, and that actually leads into another question that I got a few times on here that I think people probably are curious about, and it was asking about how I was affected personally, like financially, by the shutdowns and by everything just kind of surrounding COVID and the whole pandemic period, basically. I was affected financially for sure. Some companies went bankrupt, and that wasn't the first time. It happens. It's part of being an influencer, and I just believe that I'm gonna be okay no matter what, and so I do not stress about it. I might get a little aggravated about it here and there, but for the most part, I don't stress about it, and I kind of just let go, and whatever happens, happens, right? That's obviously like something that I couldn't always feel this way. I'm in a position where I'm earning enough and I'm privileged enough to be able to not completely fret if a paycheck doesn't come to me when it's supposed to, or if it just never shows up ever, period. I saw a huge decrease in my income, and I wasn't stressed about it, and it took months for it to happen because I get paid like from months behind, and so I didn't actually see that lull until like June or July. I didn't see that like, whoa, there's no money here anymore, whoops. So what I did during that time is instead of focusing and stressing about work stuff, I went ahead and I decided to focus my efforts somewhere else, and it just felt like it was this perfect moment. I was just laying on the couch watching TV one random day, like a Tuesday or something, middle of the day, laying on the couch watching TV, and all of a sudden I had this overwhelming urge, like this sense of urgency to write again. I had this urge, and I just felt like this was a sign that this was what I needed to do, and this is where I needed to put my efforts. And so that's what I did that day. I set a word count for every single day, and from that day there was not a single day that I didn't hit my word count up until the book being done, and it's somewhere near 90,000 words. It is a memoir, so it's about me. It has like an air of self-help to it, but it's really about my own challenges and struggles. And what it is it's a deep dive of a lot of things that I have discussed before. It's a deep dive of how I came, for instance, I get questions all the time about Christianity and, you know, finding my way back to God, basically. And it's a deep dive on that and how that happened. It's a deep dive on my former relationship, but kind of how that really affected me, and how I still hang on to some of it that I just can't seem to let go. It talks about, you know, meeting my current boyfriend. It talks about a lot of things that I guess I probably just have never talked about. It talks about a lot of pain and trauma. And to be honest with you, it's not like a sugary sweet gumdrop of a book. And that might not be for everybody, but I cannot tell you the sense of accomplishment that I felt in finally having it done. It was like this lifelong dream realized for me. And for me, that is the greatest moment I think that I'll ever have in regards to that book, is the day that I printed it and I held it and I said, I did it. Because that was something I never thought I would ever do in my entire life. And so at this point, my emotions, I had to take a back seat now. So now I have to edit the book. I have not touched it again in months because I wanted to take some time away from it. Like I said, that was a rough couple of months. Like I was not myself those few months because it was like diving back into the just this turmoil that I have gone through. And it's not all bad. There's plenty of good, but you know, it was a challenge. And so at this point where I'm at is I will very soon be sort of shopping around and seeing if maybe a publisher will pick it up, or probably looking for an agent now. I am just gonna go the traditional publish route. I'm not in the business of selling books. And so I don't wanna suddenly add that cap to my head because girl, I wear a lot of hats already and I don't look good in hats. But I hope that it'll be out, you know, soon enough. I hope maybe within a year, and I just know that there's a lot of little changes that'll have to go on in the book. But I am excited about it. I'm glad some of you guys are excited about it too. It is definitely, like I said, like a lifelong dream realized, but the dream itself was writing it. And now other people are gonna have to put their hands on it, and then I'm gonna have to release it to the masses, and then I'm gonna have to hear feedback, positive, negative, and otherwise. And that's the part that is, you know, it's a little, some grains of salt up in there. How does your partner compliment you and how do you compliment them? I cannot take a compliment. And this is part of what I was just talking about. I just feel like I'm such a messed up human being that after all of these years of like just self-doubt, and then coupled especially with my relationship. So doubt and lies and deceit in relationships, not just one relationship, but in many relationships. That has kind of turned me into this hardened sort of person. And you guys can compliment me left and right because I don't actually know you. You know what I mean? And I like them. Hey, oh, your hair looks nice. Oh, hey, it's, you know, whatever. Your shirt's cool. I like it. Da-da-da. That's cool. But it's also very surface level. When my boyfriend actually compliments me, which that makes it sound like he never does, but I do not have a proper reaction. And I'll put it that way, basically. I'm sure I could do a whole video on this. I don't know that any of you would care or that any of you have this problem. It is extremely hard for me to take a compliment from the man that I'm in a relationship with. It's not him, it's the partner. You know what I mean? It could be anybody that could be my partner, and I would have a hard time taking a compliment because I would still doubt myself. Oh, do I look good? Like, I know I look good, okay? I believe I look good. But the second he tells me I look good, or he tells me my butt looks good in this, or he tells me something about my outfit or whatever, the second that happens, suddenly I'm doubting myself. Like, I can't believe him. And it's not anything to do with him. It is wholly on me. And it is a challenge and something that I still struggle with to this day. So why? Because guys lie. And again, it's not him. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like dogging my relationship. This is just after years and years and years of being in crap and being around that negativity. It stuck with me. Let's put it that way. You joke about it, but do you see yourself seriously getting plastic surgery one day? Do I joke about it? I don't remember. I would get it if I wanted to get it. Sure. I would get, I don't see myself really getting like plastic surgery in my face or anything. So bright. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I had to change the lighting. It was so bright. But would I get plastic surgery like on my body? Sure. I mean, I would probably get like a tummy tuck or something if I really wanted to. Probably not right now, but I do have like a hanging stomach, you know what I mean? And it's not something that like I fret about or I think about every day, like, oh, I hate this. But sometimes I like am in the mirror and I'll just play with it, like, well, what if this was picked out? And then I'm like, damn, do I gotta get my crotch liposuctioned? Because this would look weird if I didn't have a stomach. Would I do it? Sure, if I felt like doing it, I would. Do I have plans to? I would say no, I don't have any plans to. As someone who worked hard to pay off your loans, do you think student loans should be forgiven? I think this is very interesting, and this is a conversation I've had many times with my siblings. I think that if student loans were forgiven, so I wonder who would eat that? Who would end up paying for that? I am technically speaking, okay? My brothers kept telling me this recently and I was so offended, but then I went home and Googled it, and I am technically speaking in the 1% of, let's say, Illinois, okay? Each state has a different amount. You have to make over X amount of dollars to be considered the 1%, right? So I do not affiliate now with rich folk or anything like that. That's not me. That's not this girl. But you know, when things like that are suggested, a lot of times it's the richer people that you want to pay for everything, right? And I mean, whatever, I don't care. Like I said, if my taxes were increased to 70%, what am I gonna do about it? Because that 30% that would be left over is probably still a lot more than what a lot of people are living with. And because I have been a lot of people living with very little, and I have had to struggle with being a parent and just being a student and whatever else, you know, I can relate to that still. It's not like I'm so removed that have this inflated ego that I am worth more. So my argument here is that, I mean, if it's forgiven, it's forgiven. It's whatever. I did work to pay my student loans off. But again, I make more money. It was easier for me to do it, frankly. When you make more money, it's easier for you to spend money on something like that, right? I think, though, that one thing that it showed me is that I need to be more cognizant of what I'm doing. There needs to be more education as to, hey, you're taking out this loan. Let me show you what the next 30 years of your life are gonna look like because of that, right? And hey, did you know instead of taking out this loan, there's actually all these other things that you could do instead? I think a lot of times that people get this idea, right? Especially when you come from a place of privilege that, well, everybody can do it. Well, why don't you just do this? Why didn't this person just do this? Your knowledge that there's a FAFSA that you can apply for that'll give you federal grants, right? Like, the fact that you even know that is a privilege that a lot of people don't have. My mom didn't know that we could go to college and not have to pay for all of it. She couldn't teach that to us. She didn't have the ability to do that when the 6 of us, right? There's 6 kids in my family, or I have, you know, there's 6 siblings. She didn't know that. She didn't know that for herself. And our school, which was a horrible school, I mean, it was rated like a 1 out of 10 kind of school, they weren't pushing that down our throats. They weren't telling us, hey, you can be something. You can go to college. You can do this for free. Here's how to do it. They weren't doing that. We didn't have the education. And so you have to remember, and that was like, I was okay. You know what I mean? There are people that were far worse off than I. There are people that were in far worse communities than me. And you think everyone knows everything. Everyone knows what I know. No, they don't. And not everyone has access to that. So I think that that's where we need to step in. And we need to step in before you're taking it. And we need to show you all these other options instead of taking a loan. If people get their loans forgiven, they get their loans forgiven. Girl, I don't care. I'm in the business of selling pants and shit. I would like for you guys to do well enough in your life that you can have this ability to be frivolous sometimes with your money, because that's what I do. And that's what I hope that you guys are able to do. I hope that you guys get to that position. It makes you a happier person, to be honest. It makes you have a little bit less animosity, a little bit less stress. And do you think I don't want the people that are, you know, in my life? You guys are in my life, right? You think I don't want you guys to be happier and be a little bit more stress-free? Of course I do. Happy people want other people to be happy. I want that. I want that for the world. So would I feel some type of way if you guys all got to like have your loans paid off for free? Not really. Even if I was the one who had to fork over more money to do it. Who all works for you? It's a good question. My mom works for me in one capacity. And then off and on, my friend Ashley will also work for me. I'll hire her from time to time. And I've always wanted Jason, my brother, to work for me in terms of like editing and stuff for my kids, actually. So that's pretty much it. I do not hire anyone else ever. I definitely keep it in the family. Even with the book, I was telling my brother, I was like, could you please become like an agent? Could you be my agent? I said, because I'd rather give you 20% or however much percent than give it to anybody else. I'm trying to help out the people that I know. So I won't say no to anybody that I know. It's just a matter of like the opportunity kind of presenting itself and it being like an organic thing that'll actually benefit both of us. Another question I got again about Lewis, and I got it a million times in a different ways, is why don't I show him, or why am I secretive about him, or why is he not like a regular part of the vlogs? And our relationship is just, it's important to me. And it was important to me to begin with, but there was a point where our relationship became very important to me. And before it was very important to me, I was a little bit more like, oh yeah, let's show this, let's cook together, let's do this, let's do this. And I love him, and he's a really funny, entertaining guy, and he's got charisma, and he has a great presence on like on video and stuff like that. I mean, he's not online, like he doesn't have any social media presence, but like he's fun, you know what I mean? He's charismatic. He's like that type of guy, but it's just such a double-edged sword. As much as I love him and I love love and I love being with him and showing him and stuff, there's so much criticism, and I feel like with relationships, it's the absolute worst. It is the absolute worst. People's relationships get judged more than pretty much anything else, I feel like, at least from my view of the internet. And so so I just kind of try to keep it to myself because I don't like people taking a big steaming hot dump on something that I really like. It makes me look back at certain things and have like a negative connotation with that event, with that photo, with that video, with that occurrence. And then so people will often say, well, then why do you show the kids, right? I peel back from time to time on showing the kids, and as they get older, there's less that they want to be shown, but there are certain things that they really want to show, right? Things that they're very excited about. But if you followed me for a long time, then you know that I used to show a lot of the harder times of parenting. And that was just a season of my life that I did that. But the reason I still show them is because I love my kids so much, you guys. I love showing them. I love being able to look back at their growth. I love that so many of you love my kids. And there is a lot of criticism of my children still, but I know none of you know my kids. None of you are actually there with them. None of you actually have experience with them. That is not the case when it comes to me and with my boyfriend. There are people that, if not in our inner circle, but certainly appendages of our inner circles, that have known us in some way, shape, or form throughout the years, throughout life. And those people that have some grain of a relationship with us, those people are oftentimes terrible. I was gonna call them a bad word. There's a lot of bad that is just outside of my little circle of good. And it's annoying. I hate it, you guys. I hate that people can be so hateful, so spiteful. And so I don't want that. But with my kids, it's just dumb adults being stupid. Oh, I have to do this, I'm gonna do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Your kid is this. Oh my gosh, our kids are so this and this and that. And I'm like, you have problems, okay? I mean, this might have made you think I have problems, but you have problems that you are coming for 7, 8, 9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? People have been making fun of my kids since they were 2, 3 years old. Okay, like, I keep them off the internet because of people like you, okay? But it's so hard for me to not share something that I love so much. I love my kids so much, you guys. And I just want the world to see all of the good that they do or that they say or the funny stuff or whatever. I just want, I yearn to share my children. My relationships go through things. I don't yearn to share the things that we go through. In order for he and I to make it forever and ever, or whatever, for however long God wants us to be together, in order for us to make it without having a ton of issues all the time, I have to protect it. My kids, I protect them from you, okay? Not the good people, the people that have some issues, okay, that you like to throw upon my children. I can protect them from you. I just tell them, girl, do not pick up my phone and do not let me catch you on the YouTube app. They don't even have YouTube anymore. I make them watch like Netflix and crap. How are your kids adapting to school these days? My kids are actually in school. I know a lot of people's kids are not in school, but my kids are in school and they have been doing very, very well. Very, very well. I have to say that I noticed a change in them almost immediately. Within 2 to 3 days of them being back, I was like, whoa, what is this? Is this a sense of normalcy? Don't get me wrong. There's like so many more procedures. There are things I have to do literally every single day just for them to get to school. Obviously they're wearing masks, but they like increased recesses. They have them outside for lunch. They have them outside for PE. They have them outside for their multiple recesses. The class size is minuscule. The classes are teeny tiny. They are also in the same class now, which is actually such a change because they haven't been in the same class since preschool. And they were like worried about it, but they really like it. I was like, you guys have no idea like the beauty of having your sibling in a class, I loved it. Like in high school, I had a chemistry class because I was advanced and my brother, he wasn't like slow, like he wasn't slow in the system. He was just like, he wasn't trying very hard and I was trying very hard. And so we kind of met and I loved having class with him. And then in college, I had class with my brother, a different brother. I had class with like just, it's so fun having class with someone that like, they are your ride or dies, okay? Like, that is amazing. And whether or not my kids realize how close they are close. And they both actually really like it. Of course, anytime anyone has like a stomach, like I think yesterday a kid had a stomach ache, I think like 9 minutes before the bell. And so he, you know, he just like didn't feel great. So he went to the nurse and they had to clear out the whole room and the kids couldn't go in the room for days. So they have like extremely heightened procedures now. And it's been good for them. They enjoy it and they, you know, kids adapt very well. Kids adapt so much better than adults do. You tell a kid they gotta wear a mask every day for the rest of their life, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's just what my life is now. You tell, you know, an adult that, well, you see what happens. Will Nala have a quinceanera? I have no idea. I don't know. It is like a rite of passage, it felt like growing up, but I ended up not having one when I was a kid. Obviously I was 14. I was planning one and then we ended up not having it, and look at me, I turned out okay. I could see having a celebration, but whether or not we'd call it a quinceañera, I don't know. Whether or not we'd have like banda and like a mariachi band and stuff like that, I mean, maybe. I mean, we'll have the vibe, don't worry about it. I randomly had a lot of questions about my ex in here. I thought that was odd, but one of them that I thought was relevant, sort of, was because I was talking about it recently with someone else. They were talking about, or they were asking me how I felt when I found out that he was gonna have another child, and without really getting too deep into it, it's his business, it's not really mine. I didn't know that he was going to have another child. We basically found out that he had another child. It was like that situation. And I think he was 1 when the news broke. And I was disappointed in him. That's what it was. I was disappointed and I was mad because I felt like, at that time especially, I just felt like he was already struggling to be the best parent that he could be for our kids in that season of life. And so I was like, you have another kid? Like, how much harder is this gonna be now? You know what I mean? And so I was nervous about how that would affect my kids in the future. But I love that kid. He's like the cutest little cuddliest thing ever, and his dad says he's not always like that, but like it's great. It's fine. If you guys watch my vlog channel, you've seen that, you know, it's not like there's no issue there. He'll come over for like Jaden's birthday party, or like if we, you know, have a little family function somewhere, it's nothing for his dad to bring him, or for us to like grab him or something and like, you know, let him hang with the kids. He's just a little kid. It's not a kid's fault. And their dad and I, you know, we do as best as we can. We have our moments, you know what I mean? We have our moments, but for the most part, we just don't have that relationship. We're not buddies. We talk about, hey, how's Jaden's orthodontist appointment? We talk about what is your schedule looking like? Could you take them an extra day? Or I'm gonna pick them up early this day, or, you know, they have a birthday party this day, or, you know what I mean? That's us, and we function, and that is the best place for us to be, point blank period. A lot of people also thought, for whatever reason, that there would be a lot of animosity between him and my partner, and for what? Why? He and I do not have any sense, any semblance, any little bit, none of that, right? We don't have any kind of romantic relationship whatsoever. We've never dabbled. We never went back in time. When it was done, it was done. And we got the best stuff out of it. We got these 2 kids that are just like the greatest, and I love them so much. Is our relationship without issue? Absolutely not. Do I still, you know, do I have to hold my tongue? Do I have to sit back and pray about situations? Do I have to hold it in sometimes? Yes, I do, but it's because he and I don't gel, and that's why we're not together, right? But for the most part, we do what we can do. Guys, that's just part of life. Things are not always gonna be perfect. You have to do the best that you can do, and you have to try to control what you can control. I am a huge control freak. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but I am. But I only try to control the things that are actually in my control. I can control my work. I can control my job. I can control my house. I cannot control, like when someone comes over to fix something, let's say, I'm not a control freak. I'm not like, do that, and then do that, and then do that, because I don't know what the hell they're doing. If I don't know something, I don't try to control it. I step back and I say, I don't know, you tell me, shoot. I don't know, okay? So I'm either extremely hands-on or 100% hands-off. And so with this relationship, you know, when it comes to co-parenting, I'm hands-on on the things that I can be hands-on with. I am hands-off when the court has told me to be hands-off. It's a practice in patience and tolerance. I think we have grown to be a lot more tolerant of each other, but ultimately we both have the interest of, you know, our kids. So how did I feel? I felt like, are you for real? But now he's just like the cutest little kid. I think I'll end it on this one. It says, what part of your job makes you feel most fulfilled? You know, I watched The Social Dilemma yesterday, and I will say that it didn't really present new information and ideas to me. It's definitely something I've been aware of, just the hold that social media has on people. And especially when you live with someone and you're in a relationship with someone that is essentially like the polar opposite, right? I am online. My life is online. My job is to be online. He is 100% the other direction. Living with two people basically on opposite ends of the spectrum, well, I'm not living with both of us, but I do feel like there's a few people that live in my head, so maybe like all of us living together is probably the best way to say it. All of us together, you know, you get to see a lot of different things. And so over these years of just kind of seeing him and how he thinks, and I'm like, well, how do you not think this, bro? Like, oh, that's right. You didn't see this. You weren't told this message 10,000 times, right? I understand why you wouldn't think this, because this hasn't been impaled into your brain. So The Social Dilemma, I thought it was interesting. It was a nice little refresher, if you will. But I think everything has an agenda, right? I think everything has an agenda. And so even documentaries and all that, they have agendas. I got into this when I watched the Aaron Hernandez one. But anyway, I think that the most fulfilling thing about the job that I do is, it's not even something that I feel, but it's something that you guys tell me. I don't feel like I help any of you. I don't wake up and think, today I'm gonna do this because it's gonna be so helpful to someone. I don't have those thoughts because I don't get to physically know you and I don't get to see you being helped, right? But so many of you will tell me that I've helped you in some way, whether it be something more superficial or it's something very deep and, you know, something deep-seated within you that I have somehow helped you with, whether it's about, you know, a coffee, or it's about a shirt, or it's about helping you get through a traumatizing thing that happened in your life because you see that, you know, maybe I went through something similar and here I am on the other side of it. That is the most fulfilling part of what I do. But again, it's not something that I can't grasp it. It's nothing that I can really see and feel, and it's something I have to just trust you on, because I don't know that I'm actually helping anyone. But at the same time, I do feel like I am a part of the problem. And the thing is that not everyone sees it as a problem. And for the people that don't see it as a problem, I'm here to help. It's hard. It's just hard to know that I'm contributing to people's brains being melded by, you know, your cell phone or your computer or whatever. The case is from Casetify. I know someone's gonna ask me. It's from Casetify. They sent it for free. It's beautiful. I know that I'm contributing to that. And so what I try to do is I try to be positive at the very least. I don't come online to talk bad about people. And maybe back in the day, I would be more negative about stuff, about brands, about events, about people, about places. I try not to be too negative about people. I really don't like that, because I don't know people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Why am I going to talk bad about this celebrity? I don't know this celebrity. I only know this one thing that the media wants me to know. I only know this one story that has been told a million different times, and it's like a game of telephone where now I don't even know that any part of that is true and honest and real. And I think that we live in a world where what's true and what's real doesn't matter. Your perception of it is all that matters. And so that's where I get kind of nervous sometimes in this job, because I can say something, man, before something comes out of my mouth now, it's filtered through 15 different things saying, is it gonna offend this person, this person, this person, this person, and then I'll say it. And then one more person, oh, I missed your filter. that person is now offended. And so it's like, I'm not here to ruffle feathers. That's never been me. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't enjoy bickering and going back and forth with people. I don't enjoy pushing my agenda. I don't enjoy pushing my viewpoint. My life is different than your life. I don't expect you to feel the way that I feel about everything. And so I live a life of a lot of tolerance, right? Me accepting that you choose to live your life and to do and say things that I wouldn't do does not mean that I agree with it. But it means that I accept that it's your decision. I accept that it's up to you and you will deal with the repercussions of it. It's not up to me to change everyone's mind to think and feel how I feel. Because again, I don't even know that the information that I receive is accurate. It's honest, it's truthful. How the hell would I know? Most of what we see is bullshit. And again, if you watch The Social Dilemma, you'll see they explain it very well, just kind of how everything is curated specifically for you. So when I log online and I'm on anything, what I see is not what you see. And what my left wing brother sees is not what my right wing sister sees. Like, what people see is not the same, but it will feed into whatever it is that you already think or what they know you're susceptible to think. Truth, fact, otherwise, it doesn't matter. So my most fulfilling thing is that I hope that I'm somewhat helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. And you tell me that I am, and so I'm gonna try to believe that. But I don't know, I take it with a grain of salt. I know that one day I wanna get out because it's not good for me to be here and to just hear nonstop opinions. I can close out of an app, I can close out of videos, I can turn off notifications, but I can't not interact at all. I can't just be like, here's a video, never see or speak to you ever again. I can't do that. It wouldn't be conducive to a good job, a good influencer, profile, what have you, right? Like, so I have to interact. I have to be a part of it. I have to look at what you guys are saying. I have to see what's going on. And so that's kind of that, I guess. I don't know. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I know it was very, very long, but it's just so fun chatting. I feel like I never chat with you guys anymore. Like, these were my fun, like, this is the kind of stuff I really miss doing. It's not like anyone's stopping me, but I don't know. Anyway, I guess share your thoughts down below and you let me know how you feel about things. I do know that there's some things in here that we'll see if I cut them out or not, because like I said, it went through all the filters, but someone's still gonna get upset about it because someone's still gonna feel like, you have to think how I think. How could you possibly think different than this? It's so clear that what I'm thinking and saying and doing is the right thing, and what you are thinking and saying and doing is the wrong thing. So, can't wait. But like I said, if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know that this is the kind of content that you guys want to see. Anyway, I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. I really, truly, honestly do. I hope that this day is incredible for you. I really do. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.